I just remember that I liked it, and I liked all the staff there because I made a connection with everyone. I guess you could say it was kind of like home for a while because I was there for a while. Mm-hmm. I liked the staff, I liked the place, and it was out in the middle of nowhere, so it was kind of me.
The people at Eagle Village are really supportive, and I learned that there's people you can trust and there's people you can't trust there, and Eagle Village is some of the people you can trust. It's almost like a family setting, but it's not, and it's better than most other places I've been.
It was so neat when I was at Eagle Village with the boys in August, and the boys were seeing people that they had known when they were younger, and how people were just amazed at how they've turned out.
Yeah.
You know, and how far they've come. I've always wanted to adopt since our girls were small because I could only have 2 children, but I didn't think we could ever afford to adopt. And then a few years ago, our oldest daughter and her husband were thinking about doing foster care. And so as they were being trained for foster care, she calls me and she says, "Mom, do you know that if you adopt out of foster care, it doesn't cost anything or very little to adopt?" And I said, "Really?" And that just kind of started my heart, tugged at my heartstrings again. And so I went to Grand Rapids to a conference on older child adoption. And when I begin to hear the statistics, that 27,000 kids age out of foster care every year, it broke my heart. And I just cried from the time I got there till the time I left. And I cried all the way home. And I said to Eric when he was home from work, and he said, "Well, how'd it go?" And I told him everything that I had heard. And I said, "Honey, I want to adopt an older child, but I can't do anything unless I know you're on board with me." And he said, "Go ahead and fill out the paperwork." I was looking for girls because we had raised girls. I figured we would adopt a girl. And then I read a story about a boy who was never adopted. And his whole attitude was, "I'm trying to be good. Why doesn't anyone want me?" And I thought, well, maybe I'll look at the boys. And so I started looking at the boys, and I thought, well, our house is big enough. We could actually take a sibling group. So I started looking at sibling groups, and I found Austin and Corey on the MARE website. And totally fell in love with them just by reading their profile. And the first picture that we saw, Corey was very distraught and looked very angry. And I brought the picture home with the profile, and I said to Eric, I said, "Look at these boys, honey. They need a mom. These are the boys I want to adopt." And so we just started doing everything we needed to do to become foster parents, with the idea that we would not foster, but we would adopt.
I don't feel like I'm adopted. I feel like I'm family. I stick like a weird glue.
Special. You know, love is special, and you have to love them together. You have to love them individually, because
in our case,
they
yeah,
are different too. Even though they're twin brothers, you know, they have different habits, they have different goals, and I love them for those goals and habits that they have.
I believe that God's always got his hand in our life, and we just have to say, "God, I accept that you're there and you're helping me," and you get help.
Trust. You know, there's a lot to say about love and trust, and examples. You know, I try to be the best example I can for them as a man, because the examples that they've had in the past were not good examples of men, and so they're always watching, and they're always sizing things up, and so I have to be sharp, and I have to be that kind of man, that a God's man.
We still have some difficulties now and then, but I would never want to go back to life without them.
I love them.
They're my babies. They're my babies.
Yes.